Hi guys, thank you for tuning in. This is Rebecca Marzes here with you with Reconcile Business Services. I am an accountant and tax strategist. I help small businesses increase profitability, cut costs, and apply tax saving strategies. So today I want to speak to you about your tax refund, right? So there's been a lot of delays in terms of, I know if you've been watching our other videos, you know that there's been a lot of delays in terms of the CARES Act and the provisions under the CARES Act. But did you know that the IRS also extended the tax deadline for individuals? So the tax deadline, instead of April 15th, well past April 15th now, it is July 15th. So you don't have to file your taxes or even pay your taxes until then. Now, what does that really mean for those who have already filed their taxes? You may notice already that there's a holdup in your tax return or your tax refund, and you've not been refunded the money that's due to you. And you may have filed taxes, as early as February, March, whenever it is that you filed, you still have not heard back, and you still are not getting a response from the IRS. And when you go on to look on the website, you're not seeing any progress with your tax return. Well, I want to tell you that you are on board with millions of Americans. A lot of people are waiting for their tax refund. A lot of people have been delayed this refund because of the fact that the IRS had to contract their offices. They've had to close a couple of their offices due to COVID-19. So many of the workers that are supposed to be, going through these tax returns, they're not working right now. Their offices are closed. So if you filed your taxes with your accountant, you're waiting, you keep calling your accountant is not holding your money. They don't have your money, they don't have your funds. They're waiting, just as you are, for the IRS to be responsive. But there is an ongoing concern here that because of COVID-19 that these offices are closed, that puts a lot of people behind in terms of when they were expecting their tax return, their tax refund. So normally, as you know, the IRS usually processes the federal refunds within 21 days of filing, right? And some refunds could take as little as 14 days to hit your account. But again, because this whole pandemic is happening, it has it's slowed things down. So a lot of people, a lot of our clients that filed early on, they received their refunds. But those that applied after, later on in February, they're still waiting. A lot of them are still waiting for their tax refunds. And that's because the IRS, their offices a lot of them are currently closed. Okay? So don't worry if you haven't received your refund. It's gonna come, it's coming. It's not your accountant's fault. It's not your CPA or your EA's fault. It's in the queue. It's being worked on. Now, one of the reasons why a lot of people might be seeing delays even before the COVID-19 situation is, you may have had an EITC on your return, which means that there's usually a bit of a longer wait for that because they have to make sure that the checks and credits are balancing on that, and that there's that you're properly claiming what you should be claiming through those provisions, right? So if there are certain credits on your return, like the EITC or like the ACTC, which is the additional child tax credit, you might see a delay in the processing of your tax refund, okay? Now, according to the law, the IRS, they have to wait until February 15th to actually start issuing refunds to taxpayers. So I had people calling me as early as February 1st, 2nd, 3rd, asking if their tax refunds were already filed, or when they'd be getting their refunds. There's no VIP with the IRS. You have to wait until they process all of the refunds, all of the returns, so that you can get the right refund at the right time. But again, I understand this is a frustrating time. A lot of people are waiting to get their refund. They're waiting to know where their money is. They're waiting to know, right now money is tight, and a lot of people are waiting to get the refund to do what they need to do. I understand that. But I'm just giving you information as to why this is slowed down, why you may have not yet received your refund. Another reason why your refund might be held up is if you filed too early. You know, a lot of people, they were going to their accountants. I had some people call me as early as, you know, as soon as they got their W-2 in January, they wanted me to file the return. And I kept telling people, well, if you're filing earlier than they're opening up the portal, it might mess some things up, right? So all of these things are things to keep in mind. So, you know, the IRS opens it up, and then if you're filing prior to that, they're going to have to kind of go back and try to filter through those people who already applied before the portal opened, right? So keep that in mind. One of the biggest reasons why your tax refund, you've not yet received your tax refund, is because the IRS is taking extreme measures this year due to security risks, right? So as you're aware, there's the EIDL, the PPP, all of these different loans, all of these different business loans that are coming through to them, right? All of this information is being gathered by them. So they want to make sure that they're protecting your identity, that, you know, they're going through the extreme measures and making sure that each return is actually you know, for the individual that's applying for it, so that they can minimize the risks of having identity theft, okay? So that is one of the reasons why your refund might not yet be processed. You have not yet received a tax refund. Now, again, if the IRS suspects that someone is trying to steal your identity, trying to use your social security, or use, you know, any measures, same address, same name, same date of birth, same social security, if anything like that might be of concern, that might be one of the reasons why your tax return is being held up. And also, if you filed a paper return, do not expect it to be filed as if it were a direct an e-file return, because paper returns take longer. Paper returns usually take 6 to 8 weeks longer than the actual e-filed returns, right? So if you filed your tax return by paper, that might also be one of the reasons why your tax return is being held up. So don't worry, it's in the queue. I know it's easier said than done, because a lot of us were waiting, and, you know, we want things to be done as quickly as possible. But I assure you, if you use a tax strategist or an accountant, or EA or CPA, that made sure that your tax return was correct to begin with, that there were no misinformation, no incorrect refund information, all of these things were, you know, you had no outstanding debt to begin with, right? So these things could be some of the reasons why your return has not yet been filed. So, but if you had someone who worked with you, and, you know, you can assure that there were no mistakes on your tax return, just wait. I believe your return will be, your refund will be processed as soon as it gets to an agent. So I'm not speaking with I'm not with the IRS, I'm an accountant, but these are the reasons why your tax refund is probably being delayed right now. So I hope that this video was informing for you. If you want to watch more, I ask that you like or subscribe, give us a thumbs up, a high five, right, by subscribing to our channel, and follow us on the other social media platforms.